Hi, I'm Jenna, the Director of Education for Community Farmers Markets, based in Atlanta, Georgia. Strawberry season comes around March for us here, and it's our first sign of spring. Strawberries are great to eat just raw when they're ripe, but we can also make them into jams and jellies. This book will explore the process step by step of how a strawberry becomes jam. I hope you enjoy it. From strawberry to jam. I love strawberry jam on toast. How is it made? First, jam makers pick ripe strawberries. Jam can be made from all kinds of fruits. Strawberries are one of the most common fruits for jam. Jam makers pick ripe strawberries in the spring and the summer. They need several cups of strawberries to make jam. Then they wash the berries. Jam makers wash the strawberries well. Then they cut off the stems and the leaves. Next, jam makers cut up the berries. Some jam makers cut the strawberries into small pieces. Others crush the berries. This helps the strawberries release their sugars and juices. They mix the berries with sugar. Jam makers place the berries in a large pot. Then they add sugar. Often they add acidic lemon juice or pectin to help thicken the mixture. The jam makers stir everything together. Then they cook the mixture. Jam makers bring the pot to a boil. They often cook the jam for several minutes until it begins to thicken. They test the thickness by letting a spoonful of jam cool. The spoonful shows what the consistency of the finished jam will be. Next, jam makers pour the jam into jars. When the jam is thick enough, they pour it into jars. The jars must be clean first. Jam makers put lids on the jars and make sure to seal them tightly. Then they put the jars in boiling water. The jam makers put the jam jars in a large pot of boiling water. They use a special tool called a jar lifter. The jars boil for about 10 minutes. This makes the jam safe to eat and keeps it from spoiling. Next, they let the jam cool. The jam makers use their jar lifters to take out the jars. They set them out for a day or so to cool. As the jars cool, the jam gets firmer. Finally, the jam is ready to eat. After cooling, the jam can be spread on many delicious things. Extra jam can usually be stored in the jars for up to 1 year. That means you can have a taste of summer in the middle of winter. Just open a fresh jar of jam.